Today, I'm going to walk you through an advanced company level end-to-end data analytics project. This is the kind of project that actually reflects what data analysts do inside real companies. And the best part is, if you're building your portfolio, this single project will set you apart because it covers the complete data analytics lifecycle from starting to finish. Now, let's talk about the company level workflow we are going to follow. We'll start by defining a business problem statement because no company or no client will ever give you a dataset and say, just analyze it. They want answers to real business questions. Then we will load the dataset into Python and perform data manipulation and exploratory data analysis. After that, we'll connect the dataset to SQL, and this is where things start to get serious because almost every company stores the data in databases, not in Excel files. And every data analyst has to use SQL to access and analyze this data. With SQL, we'll do some deeper and advanced data analysis and answer real business questions with advanced SQL queries. Once this is done, we'll move to Power BI, where I'll show you how to build a sleek and interactive dashboard that companies use to track KPIs and make business decisions. But in the real corporate world, your job doesn't end with a dashboard. Most of the time, your manager will ask you to create a project report to document the work you did and the insights you found. So, we will create a professional project report. Companies require this report to keep your work on file and to hand over knowledge to other teams. This is what stays as official documentation for the company. But in most companies, nobody will sit and read a full project report, not even your manager and especially not your clients. So, we will build a client ready presentation deck to communicate your insights with your manager and clients. Finally, and this is something people have been asking me for again and again, I'll show you how to set up a GitHub repository for this project because this is the perfect way to showcase your work publicly to recruiters. By the end of this video, you'll see how these pieces connect together into one complete company standard end-to-end data analytics project that you can put in your resume and portfolio to impress the recruiters and get a data analyst job as soon as possible. Now let's start this project by reading the problem statement because this is exactly how projects begin in real companies. A leading retail company wants to better understand its customers' shopping behavior in order to improve sales, customer satisfaction, and long term loyalty. The management team has noticed changes in purchasing patterns across demographics, product categories, and sales channels. They are particularly interested in uncovering which factors, such as discounts, reviews, seasons, or payment preferences, drive consumer decisions and repeat purchases. You are tasked with analyzing the company's customer behavior dataset to answer the following overarching business question. How can the company leverage customer shopping data to identify trends, improve customer engagement, and optimize marketing and product strategies? And now for the deliverables. I'll keep this short and simple because we've already gone through this once. We'll start with Python for data cleaning and preparing the dataset. Then we'll move to SQL for data analysis. After that, we'll build an interactive dashboard in Power BI to showcase insights in a way that management can instantly understand. Then we'll prepare a project report and presentation for showcasing our insights to managers and clients. And finally, I'll show you how to create a GitHub repository for this project. Now let's take a quick look at the dataset before starting the project. So this dataset is all about customer shopping behavior. Each row here represents one customer and their latest purchase. Let's quickly go through the columns. First is customer ID, which works like the primary key. It uniquely identifies each customer. Then we've got age and gender, which are the basic demographic details. Next, we have item purchased, which is the latest item that the customer has purchased. And next, we have category, which is the broader group that the item belongs to. Next, we have the purchase amount, which is basically how much the customer has spent on the item. And next is location where the purchase has happened. And we also have some extra product details like size, color, and season. And then comes review rating, which is basically the customer's feedback, and subscription status, which shows us whether they're part of a subscription service or not. Next, we have shipping type, which tells us how the order was delivered. And then we've got discount applied and promo code used, which are which are basically for capturing promotional activity. Finally, we have previous purchases, payment method, and frequency of purchases. Now, payment method is the method the customer has used to pay for the product. But for previous purchases and frequency of purchases, I want you to pause and look for a second. Because if you think about it, the dataset isn't telling us exactly what the previous purchases were or how much money the customer has spent before. It's not like we have a full transaction history for every customer. Instead, all we are getting is the number of previous purchases and the frequency. Basically, how many times this customer has shopped before and how often they tend to make a purchase. Now, at first glance, that might feel like a limitation, but this is exactly how it works in real world corporate projects. As an analyst, you rarely get every single piece of data you want. Sometimes it's because the client doesn't track that data in the first place. Other times it's because they're not comfortable sharing everything with you due to privacy concerns or security policies of their company. And honestly, that's part of the challenge of being an analyst. You can't just ask the client for more data when you feel like it. You have to work with whatever data is available and still deliver valuable insights. So, yes, even though we don't have a complete purchase history here, this dataset is still very, very powerful for analysis. It gives us a strong snapshot of customer behavior, who they are, what they've recently bought, and how they interact with the business overall. So, let's proceed. Okay, now I've opened Jupyter Notebook and let's start with our analysis in Python. First, I'll import pandas. Let's write pd.read csv. The name of our data is customer shopping behavior dot csv. Let's write df.head. So df.head gives us the top 5 rows, and we can already get a sense of the structure of the data and all the different columns, how our data looks. But just looking at the data is not enough, right? We also want to know the overall structure of the data set, like how many rows, how many columns, what are the data types. So we'll do df.info. Okay, great. Now next what I do is I do df.describe to check the summary statistics of all the columns. As you can see, I only get the summary statistics of the numerical columns. So by default, describe gives us the summary statistics of numerical columns only. But if we need the statistics for categorical columns too, we can write include equals all. So this way, we can get the summary statistics of both numerical and categorical columns. Okay, now let's check the missing values. We can see that review rating has 37 null values. Now what do we do with it? Let's take a minute and think. How should we replace the null values? Now your answer will probably be, we'll replace it with mean or median. Take a minute to think. Why mean or why median? Now generally we should choose median over mean because mean can get affected by outliers and that would skew the distribution of our data. And why median? Because median is robust to outliers. Now what a common beginner will do here is just fill all the missing ratings with the overall median of the entire column and move on. And yes, that technically works, but it's not the best practice. Why? Because ratings can vary a lot depending on the category. Clothing category can have different review rating than footwear category. Now, if we just take the overall median and fill it everywhere, we're basically forcing clothing items to get the same review ratings as footwear items, and that can introduce bias into our dataset. Instead, what we will do is a little bit smarter than that. We will impute the missing values using the median review rating within each category. Please listen to this carefully. we will find out the median review rating within each category and will replace that with the missing value. That way, if a clothing item is missing its review rating, it gets replaced with the median review rating of a clothing item, not a footwear item. Let's write the code. We will group it by category. We will use fill NA to fill it with median values within that category. Alright, now let's check if there are any null values left. And as you can see, we have imputed all the null values in the review rating column. So this is the difference between just cleaning the data to get it done versus cleaning it the right way. And a lot of analysts would just throw the overall median in there and move on. But we're taking some time to analyze the data properly and to respect the natural differences between categories, which gives us more accurate and trustworthy data. And honestly, this is what separates average analysts from great ones. You should understand what you're doing and what is needed instead of just copying what everyone else is doing. Now, before we move further, let's take a look at the column names. You can see they have uppercase and lowercase mixed, and they have spaces between them. Now, I want you to think about it. If your column name has uppercase letters, spaces, or even special characters, you'll constantly have to put it inside quotes or remember the exact formatting while writing your code in Python or SQL. So it's always a good practice to put your column names in snake casing. And what is snake casing? It's all lowercase with underscores. So instead of customer ID, we can write customer underscore ID. So let me repeat again. Everything will be lowercase, and instead of spaces, we will have underscores in between. Why is it important? Because it makes your code consistent, easier to read, and most importantly, with snake casing, it is easier to reference your code in SQL or Python without running into errors. So let's write the code for it. We will write please take a close look. First, we will use the lower function to convert all the column names into lower casing. And then what we will do is we will replace all the spaces with underscores. Okay, now let's take a look at our columns. And as you can see, all the columns look good except for purchase amount. So for column names, what we can do is we can write df.rename, and in the columns argument we can put purchase amount USD, and let's replace it with purchase underscore amount. That's it. Let's check now. All right, all our column names are now in snake casing and it looks neat and consistent. All right, let's do some feature engineering and create a new column. So I'll create a new column called age group to group customers into 4 age groups: young adult, adult, middle aged, and senior. Let's write pd.qcut q equals 4 and labels equals labels. Now what this cut does is it splits the ages into four equal sized groups based on the data distribution and assigns the labels we defined. Let's run it and check. We'll write df will check the age and age group. Let's check, maybe let's see 10 columns. And we can see the original ages alongside the new age group column. Now it's easier to analyze patterns across different age categories, which can be really useful for marketing or understanding the customer behavior. Next, let's create another feature called purchase frequency days. So right now the dataset has a column called frequency of purchases, which tells us how often a customer shops, but it's in text form like weekly, monthly or quarterly. And you know that working with text makes analysis harder, especially if you want to calculate metrics or compare customers. So what we'll do is we'll convert these textual frequencies into numbers, basically the number of days between purchases. And this will help us make our analysis much easier. Let's write frequency of purchases dot map frequency mapping. So first we created a dictionary called frequency mapping that maps each textual frequency to the equivalent number of days. Let's say fortnightly is 14 days, weekly is 7 days, and so on. Then we use a map function to replace the text in the column with the corresponding number of days. Let's check our results. Let's do and let's say 10 columns. And we can see the old text column alongside the new numeric column. Now, instead of just seeing weekly or monthly, we can see the exact number of days between purchases for each customer. And believe me, this is super useful for analysis. All right, let's take a quick look at something. We have two columns, discount applied and promo code used. So at first glance, they kind of look like the same column, right? Because if a promo code was used, then obviously a discount was applied. But sometimes businesses might apply discounts without promo codes, like automatic seasonal sales or exclusive discounts for members. So the question is, do we actually need both of these columns? Do both of these columns have the same values? Is one of the columns redundant? Let's check. We'll write discount applied equals promo code used. Let's put it in brackets and use all. And the result came out to be true. That means both of the columns carry exactly the same information. So we don't need both of the columns. Let's remove promo code used. Let's write df.drop promo code used access equals 1. Alright, now promo code use will be dropped. Let's check. And you can see there is no promo code used. We only have discount applied. Alright, now that we've done some data exploration and initial data analysis with our dataset, let's take the next step and move this dataset into PostgreSQL so that we can run SQL queries to do some deeper data analysis and answer some business questions. First things first, we need a database to store our table. So open up pgadmin and create a new database. We'll right click on databases, select create database, and we can name our database anything. I'll name it, let's say, customer behavior. Let's save it. Perfect. Now let's go back to Jupyter Notebook. Now we need to connect our Jupyter Notebook with PostgreSQL, and then we can load the data into PostgreSQL. So first I will install psychopg and SQL Alchemy. Let's write pip install and also we'll install SQL Alchemy. Let's run it. Okay, since I had already installed it, so it's showing requirement already satisfied. Perfect, let's move on. Now here's where the fun part begins. We will connect our Jupyter Notebook to PostgreSQL using our credentials like username, password, host, port, and of course the database that we just created. Once the connection is set up, we can send our data frame into PostgreSQL as a brand new table. You can call the table anything. I have just named it customer for now. I know what you guys must be thinking, but Amlan, we don't know the username or password or host or port. What do we do? So usually host is localhost and port is 5432. And I hope you already know the password because that's the password you use to log into pgadmin. But if you want to check the username, host and port, you can do one thing. Go to pgadmin, right click on PostgreSQL and click on properties. Go to connections and here you can see the host name, port and even the username. I will run this query now. Okay, create engine is not defined, so we'll import create engine. Let's do that. We'll write from SQL Alchemy import create engine. Perfect. Now let's run it. And as you can see, it's writing data successfully loaded into the customer table in database customer behavior. Now let's go back and check in pgadmin if the data is there or not. You can see the customer behavior database is there, and if we check, go into schemas, and if we go into tables, we can check there's this customer table. Now how do we know if data is there in customer table or not? Let's right click on customer behavior database and select query tool. Now we'll just write a simple SQL query like select star from customer. Let's say limit 20. Let's run this. And as you can see, the data is loaded into PostgreSQL. Alright, now if you don't want to use PostgreSQL and you want to use something like MySQL or MS SQL Server, no worries at all. I've got you all covered. I've also added the code for MySQL and MS SQL Server. You can go below and see this. This is the code for MySQL and this is the code for MS SQL Server. The steps are exactly the same. You just need to change your credentials like username, password, host, port, and database name. Everything else remains the same. Just make sure that you install the required packages. For MySQL, it's PyMySQL. For SQL Server, it's PyODBC. And of course, we will still need pandas and SQL Alchemy. Another quick tip would be, see if your pip install does not work here, just add an exclamation mark. Sometimes what happens in older versions that pip install doesn't work naturally. So you need to add a exclamation mark for it to work. Once this is done, rest everything is same. So no matter which database you're using, you're good to go with the project, and you can use any database to run the SQL queries that I will show you. Now we can move on to answer some business questions using SQL. I've already prepared a list of questions for you. Let me paste it here. Let's go through them one by one. So the first question is, what is the total revenue generated by male versus female customers? This is a pretty standard question in business, which is comparing revenue across demographics. So let's start writing. Select gender. We'll write sum of purchase amount. We'll call it as revenue from customers, and then we will group it by gender. Perfect. So now we know male customers generated how much revenue and female customers generated how much revenue. So business often want to see this revenue split by gender because this will help them design better targeted campaigns for each group. Let's continue to the next question. So the question is, which customers used a discount but still they spent more than average purchase amount? Now this is a very interesting question because discounts are supposed to reduce the spend, right? But some customers still spend big amounts of money even when using a discount. Let's write select customer ID, purchase amount from customer where discount applied equals yes, because a discount is applied. And then purchase amount should be, please tell me what to do here. Purchase amount should be greater than average purchase amount. So we will write a subquery here where purchase amount is greater than equal to select average purchase amount from customer. Let's run the query. Okay, let's check. Okay, we haven't closed the parenthesis. Yeah, now it will work. Perfect. Let's continue to the next question. Which are the top 5 products with the highest average review rating? We have to calculate the average review rating for each product and then find out the top 5 products with highest average review rating. So this will give us the best rated products according to customers. Let's start writing. Select item purchased. Then we will write average review rating as average product rating, let's say, from customer. We will group it by item purchased. We will order it by the average review rating, and we have to order it in descending order, and we have to find the top 5, so we'll limit it by 5. Perfect. Okay, wait, let's round it to 2 places. Okay, let's run it now. Okay, so it's saying that the review rating column is double precision. So round function will not work. So when we loaded the data from Jupyter to PostgreSQL thought that review rating column should be double precision, so it casted it as double precision. And round doesn't work on double precision. So what we have to do is we can write numeric, we can typecast it as numeric, and now we'll get it. Perfect. Now we are getting the results. We can see that gloves, sandals, boots, hat, and skirt have the highest average product rating. And products with consistently high ratings can be highlighted in marketing campaigns. They can also be sold at a premium price. That's why this question is very important. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So we have to compare the average purchase amount between standard and express shipping. If we find out that express shipping customers spend more, then that's a clear sign the business should invest more in faster delivery options. Let's start writing the query. Select shipping type. We will do average purchase amount from customer. We'll do where shipping type in. We only need standard and express. And then we have to group it by shipping type. Let's round it as well. We don't need to typecast it. Okay, so we can see that the average purchase amount is higher for express shipping rather than standard shipping. So as we had discussed, the business should focus on express shipping and other faster delivery options. Let's continue to the next question. So the question is, do subscribed customers spend more? So we have to compare average spend and total revenue between subscribers and non-subscribers. This is a very common business question because subscriptions are a big driver of revenue. We are checking average purchase amount and total revenue between subscribers and non-subscribers. The results will tell us whether the subscription program is working out or not. Let's write the query. Select subscription status. Let's find out the count of, let's say, customer ID as total customers, and then let's find out the average purchase amount as average spend. Let's round it. And then let's also find out the revenue. We will write average, or no, we will write sum purchase amount as total revenue from customer group by subscription status, and then order by, let's say, total revenue, and then average spend. Let's do DSC. Let's run the query. Okay, so now we know that 2,800 customers are not subscribed yet. The average spend is very similar to the people who have subscribed, but the total revenue is very much higher than the people who have subscribed. Okay, let's continue to the next question. Which five products have the highest percentage of purchases with discounts applied? So instead of just looking at total discounts, here we have to calculate the discount rate per product. Please try to understand. What we are trying to see is which products rely heavily on discounts to sell. Let's start writing the query. Let's write select item purchased. Then we'll write sum of case when discount applied equals yes, then 1, else 0. So what is this? Basically we are trying to find the sum of all the times discount was applied to a product. We will do by count star, and we have to find the percentage. So what we will do is we will multiply it by 100, and let's also round it, and let's call it as discount rate. So let me know in the comments if you understood this part. Let me write the full query, then it will make more sense to you. From customer, let's group it by item purchased, and then order it by discount rate in descending order, and we need top 5, so we'll write limit 5. Let's run it. Let's see what the error is. Oh, we haven't ended it, so we'll write end here. Oh, we haven't written discount. Yeah, it should work now. I think we have done some mistake. Oh, I know what mistake we have done. Let me write multiply here, so that the query isn't confused. Yeah. So what I'm basically doing is I'm grouping the items and finding the percentage of times discount was applied to an item out of the total number of times the item was sold. So basically, if a hat was sold 10 times, 50% of the time, which means 5 times, the hat was sold with a discount. I hope you get my point. So this is helping us see which products rely heavily on discounts to sell. Let's continue to the next question. So our next question is segment customers into new, returning, and loyal based on the total number of previous purchases and show the count of each segment. This is a very important question because businesses love customer segmentation. It helps them understand customer loyalty. So let's define how we can segment the customers into new, returning, and loyal. We'll segment it according to simple rules. Let's say if someone has bought only once from a store, then they're new. But if previous purchases is between 2 and 10 times, then they are returning customers. And if they have purchased more than 10 times, then they are loyal customers. Then we just have to count how many customers fall into each bracket. Let's start writing the query. We will need a CTE for this query. So let's start writing. We will name the CTE as customer type. We'll write select customer ID previous purchases, and then we'll write a case statement to segment the customers. Case when previous purchases equals 1, then new. When previous purchases between 2 and 10, then returning, else the customer is loyal. So we'll end it as, let's call it customer segment, and of course from customer. Now we need to count the number of customers falling into each customer segment. So we will write select customer segment and simply count star as, let's say, number of customers from customer, oh sorry, my bad, from the city which is called customer type, from customer type, and then we will group it by customer segment. Let's run the query. So now we know that there are 3000 loyal customers and new and returning customers are very less, because the data we have is of a customer base. So there are a lot of loyal customers in this data set. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What are the top 3 most purchased products within each category? So this is an advanced query. We'll need a window function to rank products by total orders within each category. Then we will pick the top 3. And I also need a city for this query as well. Let's start writing. I'll write with, let's name our city as item counts. We'll write select category item purchased count of customer ID, let's call it total orders, and then which window function should we use to rank the products? There are 3 different functions: rank, dense rank, and row number. Do you know which one to use when? So today I'll use row number. Please tell me in the comments why we are using it. Let's write over partition by category, order by count of customer ID. We'll do it descending. Let's call it as item rank. From customer, and then we will group it by category and item purchased. Perfect. Now we have to write select item rank, category, item purchased, and total orders from our city which is item counts, where item rank less than equal to 3, because we need the top 3. Let's run the query. Okay, we have run into an error. Okay, we haven't put a comma here. That's it. It should run now. Okay, now we can see the top 3 items within each category, which are the best selling. And now can you tell me why we used row number instead of rank or dense rank? It's because you can see for many items, the numbers are same. So what rank and dense rank will do is, rank and dense rank will put sunglasses and belt both as rank 2. Got my point? Similarly, rank and dense rank will put blouse and pants both as rank 1. But since we need 3 different ranks, I took row number. I hope you understand. Let's go to the next question. Are customers who are repeat buyers also likely to subscribe? And by repeat buyers, I mean customers who have more than 5 previous purchases. So this question is very important because if repeat buyers are also subscribers, that's great for the business. But if loyal customers aren't subscribing, it may signal that the subscription offer isn't attractive enough for the customers. So let's write our query. Select subscription status, count of customer ID as repeat buyers from customers. We have to group it by subscription status, but also we need to filter it to customers with more than 5 previous purchases. So we'll write where previous purchases is greater than 5. Let's run the query. So now we know that 2500 of the repeat buyers are not subscribed, but only 958 of the repeat buyers are subscribed to our model. Okay, let's continue to the last question. So finally, for the last question, let's check the revenue by age group. We will write select age group sum of purchase amount as total revenue, let's call it, from customer. We have to group it by age group and let's order it by total revenue in descending order. Let's run the query. So this is telling us which demographic is most valuable to the business. So you can see young adults drive the most revenue, and then it's followed by middle-aged, adult, and senior citizens. All right, now that we have done our analysis in SQL, let's create a beautiful dashboard in Power BI. Let's first create a blank report. Perfect. Now let's get data. We'll click on more. Then we'll select database and we'll connect to our database. Mine is PostgreSQL, so I'll click on PostgreSQL, but if yours is MySQL or MS SQL Server or Oracle database, please click on it accordingly. I'll click on connect. Now it's asking me server and database. Now server isn't your server name. It's basically local, basically your host and port name. So my host is localhost and post name for PostgreSQL is 5432. So I'll put that. For MySQL and MS SQL Server, the port name, the port number is different. For example, MySQL's port number is 3306. So write it accordingly. Please check and write it accordingly. And the database name is customer behavior Perfect. Now we'll click on OK, and you can see we have our customer data. Click on this. You can see it's loaded. So click on load. Just click on apply changes. It's taking some time. It's fine. The rows are loaded finally. Click on table view and you can check the data set right here. You can see we have customer ID, age, gender, all the columns that we had in our database. Perfect. Now let's create some visuals. So let's start. First, I'll create some measures. Just watch. I'll right click on customer ID, click on new measure, and I'll create a measure called number of customers equals count of customer ID. We don't need distinct count because each row is a new customer. I'll click on enter. Okay, now I'll create another measure. Right click on purchase amount, new measure. I'll create a measure called average purchase amount, average of purchase amount. Click enter. Now I'll create a third measure called average review rating. Let's create it quickly. Average review rating equals average of review rating column. Click enter. Now that our measures are ready, I'll click on the new card visual. Basically, new card visual lets us create multiple cards at once. But if you don't have the new card visual, you can create individual cards using this card visual. But since we have this newer version of Power BI, I'll show you using new card visual. Okay, now click on the measures we created, number of customers, average purchase amount, and average review rating. You can see the new card visual let us create multiple cards at once. So now we'll format these cards. Go to format visual. So first I'll bold it, align it using center alignment. We'll give the position as below value. Now it looks better. We'll increase the font of the label to 16. Let's make it, yeah, now it looks better. We can also change the color, but let's keep this one. We'll change the color of the values. I'll give it as, yeah, this looks good. Now click on cards. I'll change the shape to rounded rectangle because this looks more professional. I'll reduce the rounded corners to, let's say, maybe 6. 6 is good. Alignment is fine according to me. Background is fine. Border is fine. Let's click on shadow, and the offset should be inside. Just my preference for the cards. Let's click on glow. I'll change the color to this, and again also click on accent bar. This is something I really like, and change the color of the accent bar to purple, and then increase the width to 6. Yeah, now it looks good. One thing we can do is number of customers is showing 4K, but in actuality, like, we have only 3,900 customers, so it's very misleading. So we can format this. Also, if you see average purchase amount, they should show the currency in which purchases happened. For our case, it's dollars. So we'll format that. It's in general. We'll go to data format. Okay, let's do it one by one. Number of customers is selected, so let's do it general. Yeah, 3.9K works perfectly. Now let's click on average purchase amount, and we can select the currency, and by default it's in rupees, but I'll change it to USD. So currency general is basically USD. I'll make the decimal places as 2. Perfect. Now it looks good. And average review rating can be like that because it's a rating. Okay, now that our cards are ready, I'll do something else. Go on insert. I'll click on a shape, click on rounded tab. Okay, we can just cancel. Okay, let's just format it accordingly. Now we'll take a text box. Let's write customer behavior dashboard. Let's make it bold and let's make the font size as 40. Looks good. Make it center aligned. Now we have to just put it right there, and also we have to make the background as transparent. So we'll just make transparency as 100. Perfect. Now it looks good. Now let's take another shape. Let's take a rounded rectangle. Let's format it first. Let's take rounded corners as 6%. 6 looks good, as I said. The color can be, or let's keep it as white. Yep, white is okay. Border should be again. Let's click on shadow. I think we can. Okay, let's keep the border and the shadow. And the glow. You can just keep the shadow like this to gray. This gives a depth to the visual. Also, I guess let's remove the border. So now what we'll do, we'll create a visual and fit it inside this. Let's create a donut chart. Click on a donut chart, bring it here, and we'll click on subscription status. So in values, we need to add customer ID, and we will do it as count. So now we have a donut chart ready, but let's first format it before we do anything else. Let's click on label contents and click on data value percent of total. Okay, wait, let's click on category and percent of total. Now it looks better. Yes and no. So now that we know which is yes and which is no, we can remove the legend. Anyways, it was taking up space. Let's go to the title and we can say something like percentage of subscribers or percentage of customers by subscription status. Subscription status. Let's make it bold, or let's change the color to, and let's increase the font. Let's just keep, yeah, let's keep it like this, percentage of customers by subscription status. Let's increase the font of the labels as well. Okay, so we'll go to apply settings too. We'll select on no. No is already selected, so great. We'll change the color to, let's say, pink, or maybe a less. Yeah, this color looks great. Also, I don't like the color of the top of the dashboard, so I'll change its color to the same pink. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to put it inside this and adjust it. Yeah, now it's ready. Now let's copy paste the shapes so that we can use it. I'll just adjust it accordingly. You can adjust it according to yourself. So now we have to take it again. Okay, perfect. Let's take two. Okay, I just realized that I had to change the layout. So let's go to canvas settings, and we can keep the type as custom. Let's make it, like, make the height as 820 and the width as 1500. The reason I showed you that I couldn't fit all these is because there was no space available. So now that we have some space, let's just bring this here. Yeah, we can increase the size. We can increase this size as well. And we can adjust them accordingly. First, I'll adjust this one. Let's say I'll make it a little bigger. And then I'll copy. And we can adjust this inside the box accordingly. Perfect. Now what we can also do is we can click on the three box and we can do format, align, and distribute horizontally, so that all of them will be distributed horizontally. Perfect. Now let's create another visual. Okay, let's first click on a clustered column chart, and then we'll click on purchase amount and category. Let's adjust this. Let's remove the title of the x-axis. Let's also remove the title of the y-axis. Let's remove the grid lines. Let's keep the color as perfect. Let's click on general and then go to title. We'll name the chart as revenue by category. Now let's go to our next chart. I'll create a very similar chart to this. So let's just copy and paste and bring it here. I'll create sales by category. So I'll remove the purchase amount and I'll click on count of customer ID. So it's not sum, it's count of customer ID. Perfect. And we'll just change the name. We'll click on the title and we'll write sales by category. Perfect. Now before moving forward, I'll create some slices. So first I'll take a shape like I always take. Let's take a rounded rectangle again. Just keep it like this and change the color, or just make it transparent, whatever you wish. Also the borders color should be according to what we've kept throughout, so make sure of that. Shadow and glow should be on. Shadow should be gray and glow should be again this one. Perfect. Now let's create some slicers. So I'll go to this button slicer and click on it. I'll show you in a minute what a button slicer is. We'll go to subscription status and click on it. So this is a button slicer and let's edit it now. We'll go to slicer settings. This is fine. So we'll go to layout and we'll click on horizontal. So we just have to go here and adjust this. Let's do it. Let's align it to the middle. Perfect. And let's change the name to subscription space status. Click on enter. Perfect. Now we'll create a similar slicer. Maybe let's just copy paste on it and go down, and we'll just change it from subscription status to gender. And let's just change the name, make G capital. Perfect. Now we'll create another button slicer. So we could just copy it. Let's just copy it instead of creating a new one. But this time it will be category. Also we need to change the type of the slicer so that it looks proper. We'll do vertical and we'll put it there, and yeah, we'll just change the name of the category to, we'll make the C capital. Also we can just make it smaller as much as possible. Yeah, now it's good. Now we'll create another slicer at the end. Let's just make a list slicer this time, and we'll take shipping type. Let's just adjust this accordingly. And maybe we can reduce the size of these so that shipping type can fit. Yeah, now it fits. Now we have enough space at the bottom to create two more charts. There are a lot of beautiful charts that we can create right now, but I would still like to focus and go for revenue and sales, because those are the two most important things a company wants to know about. And since this is a customer behavior dashboard, I would like to see how different age group of customers affect the revenue and sales. So let's create that. Let's click on a clustered bar chart, and we'll click on purchase amount, and age group. So what we'll do is let's bring a shape from above there and we'll set it here accordingly. Perfect. Let's Okay, perfect. Let's remove the title. Now let's keep the name of the chart as revenue by age group. Also, let's change the color of the chart. Let's click on bars and now we'll change the color to again blue. Blue looks good. Okay, we still have the let's remove this. Now it looks good. Let's put it there. Now if you see, sometimes what happens is it goes behind the shape. So what we can do is we can group them together, but first let me take another shape and put it here. Now what we can do is let me remove this, bring this. I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to create a very similar chart right now. I'll just copy it and paste. So now I want to create sales by age group. So what I will do is I'll remove the purchase amount and click on customer ID, and I'll click on count of customer ID. So now it gives me sales by age group. So we'll just change the title. Now we can bring it here. All right, now our dashboard is ready. It looks very beautiful. Let's save it before it gets deleted. Let's save it as customer behavior dashboard. So the reason I added so many slicers is because you can filter the data according to these categories, and you can see the metrics change when I click on these. Because this dashboard is fully interactive, so you can click around and play with it and explore insights accordingly. All right, that was the dashboard part. Now let me show you the project report that I've made. So this is the project report that I've created, and honestly it's very simple. All you really have to do is write down line by line what you did in this project. For example, loaded data using pandas, checked for null values and imputed the null values, created new columns, and so on. And then you also have to paste the screenshots of your code or outputs in between. That's it. And then we have business recommendations. But let me be brutally honest with you, no one in corporate really has the time or energy to read these reports. Not even your managers, not even your clients. Most of them even won't open it. What everyone actually wants is a PowerPoint presentation. That's what you will be asked to prepare and present. And that presentation will also be shared around. So think of this report we created as just a documentation, which is nice to have but not really important when it comes to sharing or presenting your work. What we really want is a quick presentation where you can showcase your findings to your manager and to the clients. Now we will use an AI tool called Gamma to create a quick presentation for our project. Let's go to Gamma, click on create new, and we'll click on import file. Then we'll upload our report. Our report is already here, I've downloaded it. And the AI will automatically generate a professional presentation for you in seconds. So we have to choose presentation, and then you can choose your layout, or if you want it minimal or concise, let's keep it minimal. And the title you want, let's keep it Dune. You can choose on your own, but yeah, and I'm just showing you right now how to do it. So let's click on generate. And the AI is generating it in no time, and you can see it's really beautiful. So let it complete. So this is the final presentation created by Gamma. It literally took only 2 minutes to create it using AI. Let's check it out. And I think it's really beautiful, given that it literally made my process very easy, and we can also tweak it according to ourselves. But as you can see, it also created charts from me because I gave the screenshots of our data. Perfect, it's perfect. And this is something you can really use when presenting to stakeholders, because this looks really neat and beautiful. All right all right now that our project is done, we have to put it on GitHub. So let's go to GitHub. On the top right corner, we have an icon, plus icon. We'll click on new repository. Then we can give our repository a name, like we can say anything like customer data or customer behavior analysis, let's say. And we'll have to give a description, but for now let's keep it that way. And you have to click on add readme because that's very important for your project. Also add a short description, but for now I'm just writing something like data analytics project showcasing customer behavior analysis using Python, SQL, and Power BI. And then if you want to add a license, add an MIT license. I will add an MIT license because I want you people to be able to use my code. So we'll create a repository. Now that our repository is created, we'll add all the files here. Click on upload files and just choose your files and drag them here. And we can commit the changes. Now the most important part is creating a GitHub README file. Just a few lines describing what the project is, what tools you used, and what someone will find inside this project. README file is the first thing people see when they open your GitHub repo. So it's like the cover page of your work. Now I understand that a lot of you don't want to write a README file from scratch. So you can just generate one using ChatGPT. I'll show you how to do that. Just go to ChatGPT and paste this prompt. So I'm literally telling ChatGPT to write a professional README file for my project, which should include loading the dataset, EDA, cleaning data, running SQL queries, and building a Power BI dashboard. And I would like to structure it with sections like overview, dataset, tools, dashboards, and results. And if you want, you can also provide your code. I mean, it's up to you. If you want, you can provide your code here. And let's run it. And you can see ChatGPT will give a README for you. You can just copy paste it and use it here. You can go to the README and just paste it here. And now that finally your project is done and it's on GitHub too, don't keep it hidden. Go to LinkedIn, write a short post about it, share what you have learned, and add the GitHub link or the PPT. I'll show you how. Just go to LinkedIn, start a new post, maybe download this PPT, download it using export to PDF because PDF files are easy to publish on LinkedIn. And then click on add a document, choose file, and this is a PDF. Uh, Write any title like customer behavior data analysis, and then share your thoughts. And don't forget to tag me. You can literally do @amlan to tag me in the post as well, because I'll comment and share your post so that it reaches maximum number of people, and hopefully recruiters notice and see your post and you get a job. And that's it from my side. This was an advanced corporate level company project that I showed you today, the kind of real world work you'll actually see in companies. I showed you the full end to end workflow today, from Python to SQL to dashboard to report to presentations, and that too using AI. And finally, we also posted it on GitHub, and I showed you how to post your work on LinkedIn. So that's a complete data analytics workflow that I showed you today. If you found this helpful, don't just watch, share it with your friends or colleagues and follow for more such videos, because this is the kind of stuff that actually prepares you for the industry.